The findings, presented at the American Sociological Association this week and to be published in a forthcoming journal article, are a sober reminder that it takes a lot more than genetic proof of multi-ethnic ancestry to dissuade hardcore racists from their hateful ideology. In fact, the tests may bolster some of their beliefs. We can't rely on genetic information to turn white nationalists away from their views, researcher Aaron Panofsky wrote in an email to HuffPost. I saw a tweet that said we should crowdfund genetic ancestry tests for these guys and that would end the movement. I think that is completely wrong and the genetics can't save us. In a video posted on the YouTube page, one participant says, there would be no such thing as, extremism in the world if people knew their heritage like that. Genetic ancestry tests require people to spit into tubes and send the saliva samples to a lab for analysis. A few weeks later, they are directed to a website that reveals their genetic heritage. All genetic ancestry companies compare a person's genome with a proprietary database of reference populations, and show percentages of DNA defined racially, ethnically, continentally, or by modern nation-states. So, a person may be 87% East Asian in one company's test, but 67% Chinese in another company's. Services also analyze mitochondrial DNA passed down from the mother, and Y chromosome DNA passed down from the father to sons, to assess how ancestors may have migrated over time. To examine how white supremacists use these tests, Panofsky and co-author Joan Donovan scoured the discussion boards of Stormfront, the oldest online forum for white supremacists, and identified 153 people who had posted the results of their genetic ancestry tests for comment. For some white supremacists who found links to Jewish or other non-European people groups, feedback from the forum ranged from never breed, to more gentle assurances that as long as they didn't see Jew when they looked in the mirror, they could claim whiteness. Finally, Panofsky observed that members were having in-depth discussions in an attempt to explain away undesirable ancestry by suggesting the test itself was either invalid, a Jewish conspiracy to confuse white people, for example, or the test's methodology and statistical analysis were flawed. They have very sophisticated interpretations that are based on statistical, genetic, and historical reasoning, Panofsky said. The conclusions and interpretations they make are often not the ones professional geneticists, biological anthropologists, and historians would make, but these interpretations are not ignorant or uneducated. A person's test might come back 30% English, 20% Danish, 40% German, etc., and this looks like great diversity within Europeans without people of color being involved, Panofsky explained. Already some white nationalists portray white people as the true people of color, red hair, blonde, brown, and black hair, blue, green, and brown eyes, pale to olive skin, etc., while seeing non-whites as all the same. Regardless of how white supremacists see it, the historical definition of whiteness is a socially constructed, ever-shifting categorization. In the 19th century, superior whites were of Saxon stock, and didn't include the Irish, Italian, or Eastern European Jews. Over time, some of these groups gained entry into whiteness, while others didn't. Correction: a previous version of this story incorrectly described genetic ancestry techniques to trace human migration patterns. Mitochondrial DNA is passed down from mothers to children, while Y chromosome DNA is passed down from fathers to sons.